Alright guys, as promised, I'm back with my review of Trick or Treat Studios' Elrod mask. Now this is my Elrod mask, which was converted by Rick Ramby. And guys, this is amazing. I am so happy with what the work that Rick has done for me in the past. And he just doesn't disappoint. I sent him 2 of these masks in the mail. The Kirk on the right of it here, and the Elrod. And I told him, and I knew he was going on a trip, and you know, it was probably around summer, and you know, I told him, said, look, man, I appreciate everything you did for the Captain Kirk I have in the back here, but I'm sending you 2 masks. I want you to take your time on them. Just, I don't care when you send them back. Just take your time. I know you're busy. And at that point, I didn't even know that he had stopped taking orders. I think he had kind of stopped taking orders right after I'd sent him those. So I was lucky. I kind of just made it. And, but like I said, you know, look, these guys have lives, okay? Rick doesn't sit around all day, probably. And I don't know Rick personally. I just know him, you know, professionally, you know, and I don't think he sits around all day and doesn't do anything but mask. I'm pretty sure the man has a job, and I'm almost positive the man has a family, and he's not doing this 24/7, okay? So when you message him, you always have to remember that, you know, like, this is a hobby first for some of these people. And but look, I understand too, you're paying him money and you want it done, and you know, so look, I understand both sides completely. I've been impatient with people before, and sometimes it's not the best course to go because, you know, I mean, you want them to kind of take their time, especially with something like this. And I told him, I said, look, I said, take your time. I don't care when you send it back to me. I just want you to take your time on it and don't rush. You know, don't feel like you need to rush. And, you know, there's no hurry on this. I'm not, I told Rick, I don't wear these every day. Okay, so I don't need this to go to work. I don't need this to, you know, go to a party. I just take your time on him. So he did. And I'm just so amazed at what he did for both these. I mean, they look just so different. You know, and they're both, they of course, they fit different. The Kirk conversion is a bigger pull. It fits a bigger head than the Elrod. The Elrod is much more snug fitting, and to me, I think that it's kind of almost, you know, almost too small. But from what I've read, that is pretty close to what the Kirk mask was like. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe they had smaller heads back then. Maybe we're all just big-headed people now. I don't know. But anyway. And look, some people can't fit these. I've seen Ron's videos, and he puts them on real quick, and I'm like, how does this, you know, how does this fit in him like this? I don't understand. And then I realized, well, you know, Ron's got a smaller head than me, clearly. So anyway, getting back to the Elrod, I am just really happy with what Rick has done. I love the hair on this thing. Now, the hair on my Elrod is different than the hair he's using now. The hair on the Kirk is the new hair that he's using, and it's kind of got a little more red to it. It's just a little different. It's not as brown looking, as you can see. I'm gonna try to get there you go, better shot here. It's just not as brown as the old hair. It's just, you know, and probably a little more film accurate, I guess. I don't know. You know, there's so many, the way they shot this movie, and you know, it's a low budget film, but Dean Cundy's a magician, and the lighting, I can't tell really what the hair looks like. I mean, even when you're looking at stills, it's like, okay, is it brown? I know it's not black, but some pictures look like it's black. So anyway, it's probably, I think the hair is probably closer to this than this, but I'm very happy with this one. And I told Rick, you know, because Rick had asked me, you know, it had any special requests for the mask. And I told him, I said, look, I really like Ron's videos, and I'm sure if you guys are watching mine, if you haven't checked out Ron's got some amazing masks, and he's an awesome YouTube buddy of mine, and I love the stuff that he posts. J2's another one. Look him up. He's got some fantastic masks. I think he's just kind of getting into the hobby, and he's got some really good mask reviews. I love watching all their reviews, but Ron, he had did an unboxing not that long ago, and I was looking at it, and I sent some pictures to Rick, and I said, look, I want it to look a little bit like Ron's. I mean, do it a little different, make it a little more weathered, but the hair, I like what you did on Ron's. If you could try to make it match as close as possible, and he did. And then plus I told him, I said, look, I'm doing 2 masks. I want them to look different. I mean, clearly I want both of them to just be a little different. I don't want them to look exactly the same. What's the fun in that, And to me, he was able to really make these masks pop. I mean, that is amazing. Look at them. Look how different they look. It's just, to me, actually, it's funny. I'm just looking at it now. I'm kind of making an observation on him. The Kirk mask looks almost like the scene in the closet when Tommy Lee Wallace is wearing the mask. Of course, he has different shape face and maybe a different shaped head. I don't know. I didn't really look at him and Nick Castle side by side, but it almost has that kind of look to it. And this Elrod has that kind of look when he's standing up after being shot at the end of Halloween, and he's kind of in the dark, and then Donald Pleasance shoots him again. It's amazing, man. It's amazing to me how different the mask can look depending on who paints them and who's the artist. I mean, it's just there's not one perfect mask out there. I used to think that. I used to really believe that. Oh, well, this mask is the one, and this is the one. This is the hero. And sometimes that's just not really the case, I mean, it's just really depends on what you see. I mean, this is like art, and it's really in the eye of the beholder. It's what you think is the one. Like I said before, I think that, like Rick, he did my creep for me, and some people weren't too kind about it. They thought it was overpainted and it looked like a resurrection mask, and I just have to disagree. I don't think it was overpainted. I think it looks fantastic, and I think he painted it that way because, in certain, under certain lights, it looks, different, and that was kind of what I wanted. So I think for these, Rick he didn't do as much shadowing, I think, as he did on my creep, which is a shame. Because I think the shadowing helps. I mean, it might not be accurate, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, if you're going to display this and you got it under a certain light, I don't know, you want it to look a certain way. And I'm not really the right person to ask, is this film accurate? I mean, honestly, I don't care. I care about how it looks in person. I care about what I get out of it, and what I take away from it. Because at the end of the day, guys, I mean, this mask that they used, it was a cheap mask that they got, and they just painted it, and they just did it up, and that was it. I mean, it wasn't anything special, I mean, at the time, I mean, they didn't know they were making this big blockbuster. They had no clue. This was just a throwaway thing, and this was hey, let's just, grab this mask, we'll paint it, and that's it. I guarantee you, no one thought in a million years this would go on to be what it is 40 years later. There's just no way to even comprehend something like that. It's going to be as big as it is. But to me, I think that, it's just what you see, man. I mean, if you think this Elrod's the one, it's the one. If you think the Kirk's the one, it's the one. I mean, it's just what you think. it's what you interpret on the screen, and you say, oh, this is the mask this is my holy grail. This is the hero. But anyway, that's enough of the rant on that one. I didn't even mean to go on a rant like that. I just want to show you guys how cool this mask looks and how much I love the little pinhole there that Rick did, and just the weathering. I highly, 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 highly recommend getting one of these Elrods and contacting Rick. Now remember, Rick's out till the first of the year. So in 2019, man, contact this man. You know, get him to do one of these for you, because you're not going to be disappointed. I think this is just, and I would have never thought that this Elrod, to me, would compete with like the Creep that I have, in terms of just how much I love it, not in terms of how much it's screen accurate. I love this mask, and the sculpt was always there. Justin at TOTS did an amazing job with this, with the people he works with, and it's very evident. I mean, you know, look, they make affordable masks. We didn't get this before. Before Trick or Treat Studios came around, what do we really have in terms of Michael Myers mask? We had that Data looking, from Star Trek looking mask that was supposedly Michael Myers. That's the one I remember as a kid, and it was very disappointing. So we should be happy that we have a company like this that really does care and puts out what they put out. Now, at the price, they can't sell $300 masks. They just can't. It's not feasible for the company to do it that way. So what they do is they put out these masks, okay, and yeah, you know, they put them through an assembly line in Mexico, okay, and they put the hair on and they ship them out, you know, that's it. So you get what you get, but you're getting a $6 mask. And the nice thing is that if you want to pay someone to convert it, you can pay somebody to convert it, and you get, you know, it's easily like a $300 mask for, you know, half the cost. So that's something awesome to be able to do. And I can't wait for them to keep going out and making more masks. I wish Ruby's didn't have the damn license for 4 and 5. I just wish, and even 1, I wish that TOTS could have the license for all of them, because, you know, however many people bitch and complain about TOTS, and I've done it myself, about the quality control and what you get and blah, blah, blah. I think they would do some amazing work if they had 4 and 5, and if they had 1. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I mean, you see what they do at 2. Of course, this is like a little loophole that they have, but you see what they do at 2. I mean, God only knows what they would be able to do if they actually had the license for 1 and 4 and 5. Hopefully one day they will. And I'm super stoked about this new mask coming out for the new movie. I pre-ordered it. I think it should be arriving next month. We're in August, so it should be September, maybe early October. This is a fun time for Halloween fans. I mean, I'm super excited about 2018 and about the new movie and just all the stuff coming out. There's so many things. I mean, you know, for toy collectors, NECA's got a new figure, finally. After years and years, NECA finally has the license to release the new Halloween 2 Michael Myers figure, which is amazing. And Mezco has an H1 coming out, a figure, and there's some other companies coming out with, you know, statues, and there's records coming out. I don't know if you guys can see all my vinyl. I mean, and this is just some of the vinyl, but I'm a huge vinyl guy, and I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am about the Mondo and Death Waltz coming out with the soundtracks for the first 5 movies. I mean, that's awesome, because we haven't gotten a good reissue of 4 and 5. Actually, I'm sorry, let me correct that. We've never gotten a 4 and 5 reissue for the soundtracks. And we're finally able to receive those, which are great soundtracks. And we're finally getting a reissue of Halloween 3. Halloween 3 is my favorite of all the scores. I love Halloween 3 so much. I think the music is incredible. So we're getting the reissue of that coming out in August. In September, we're getting the reissue of Halloween 2 soundtrack, finally. And then, of course, they're saving Halloween 1 for October. So it's really just a fantastic time to be a fan. And then to top it off, the new Halloween soundtrack by John Carpenter. We're getting, I lost count, like 10 different variants of the albums. Some on Sacred Bones, Waxworks is getting their own variant. I think FYE's getting one. Books A Million, I think, is getting one. I thought they were out of business, but apparently not. Indie stores are getting them in the UK, in the US. I mean, God, there's so many variants coming out. It's just too many to collect all of them, so you have to kind of pick the ones you want. But that being said, this is a fantastic time to be a Halloween fan, and I truly cannot wait until I get the Halloween mask from TOTS for Halloween 2018. I'm eagerly anticipating that mask, and I think it's going to look great. We won't know until we get them in hand, but based on the stories I've read about how their whole process, and I don't know. I think it's going to be great, guys. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but I'm thinking it's going to be great. So let's just wait and see what happens. Keep flooding YouTube. I love all the videos that I see. I'm so glad more and more people are starting to get into this hobby, and they're starting to post their videos on YouTube. I think it's a great hobby. I think it's just amazing that more and more people are definitely starting to sorry, I'm lost for words here. To get into this hobby, because it's great. Look, it's not cheap, it's expensive, but look, man, this is like art. I love art. I clearly love art, okay? I love to post art around my house. And, to me, this is no different. It's just art on a mask stand. It's artists putting their love into it, and it's just another form of art. And I love it. And like I said, keep flooding my news feeds with videos, guys. They're all great. I love watching them. I'm trying to be more proactive in commenting on the videos, because it's great to be able to talk with fellow fans. And I will be doing another video probably soon on just another update on things for my channel that I'd like to start doing. I'd like to branch out a little bit, do some more reviews on some new movies, some Blu-rays that I've been wanting to review. I've been trying to do more Arrow video releases because I love that company, and I'm actually going to start doing some vinyl reviews. I have a ton of John Carpenter soundtracks, both vintage and new, and I would love to do some comparisons and just do some videos without getting flagged by YouTube for any kind of infringement. So keep watching, guys. Like and subscribe, and let's just flood. Let's make this 40th anniversary of Halloween special. If you guys watch any other the videos, one of my favorites is we watched a movie. Those guys are so funny, and I generally really like those reviews that they do and their skits, and it's great. They're adamant, Halloween fans, like most of us who come to these videos and watch them, and it's just the community is growing, and there's more people who are collecting masks, more people that just love Halloween, and what a great year, man, that we're getting a movie done right by people who actually love the movie, and they're getting people involved who actually care about the movie. It just reminds me a little bit of H2O. I remember when H2O came out. It was kind of bittersweet because I knew John Carpenter wasn't involved, so that kind of made me a little upset, because I was like, well, but he's like the creator. Like, why wouldn't he, And I love H2O for what it is. I love H2O. It's just, I think this movie is going to top a lot of it, because I think there's just more people who are behind the scenes that love it. I mean, to me, this is a fan film. And, I hope we get more fan films, okay? And I use that term fan film loosely. Neil Blomkamp, for the love of God, let him make an Alien sequel. Ridley Scott pulled the rug out from under him. He wasn't able to do it, so Ridley Scott could do Covenant. Covenant was not that great. It was okay. It wasn't what I wanted. I think Neil Blomkamp had the same idea that Danny McBride and them are doing with Halloween. They're fans of this particular franchise, and they wrote something, and they've hopefully made something that is special, and I just have a really good feeling that it will be. So thanks for watching, guys, and remember, happy Halloween.